You're watching Point and Click, the computer show on Time Warner 13. Tonight, Nancy Roberts and Chuck Swanson will give you an overview of web auction sites and give you tips on how to use them. Point and Click is brought to you in part by Icon Office Solutions and Technology Services and by Time Warner Cable's Roadrunner high-speed online service. Set design and fabrication by Bill Green Cabinet.
Hi, and welcome to a new season of Point and Click, coming to you from a brand new studio. And of course, we're live here in East Syracuse. We're really looking forward to bringing you some new features and segments on the show this season. I'm, of course, Nancy Roberts, and Chuck Swanson is with me for this first show of the new season. And so we thought we would start the season off with a little shopping.
Why not?
Which we've both been sitting here like doing nothing but scrolling through all this stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at auction shopping. Now, eBay was one of the first online auction sites, and it basically revolutionized how e-business was conducted on the web. Now, since its launch in September of 1995, it's grown to over 18.5 million users and has about 2.5 million items up for bids at any given time. And many other auction websites have sprouted up on the internet since then, and tonight we're going to give you an overview of some auction websites you might want to take a look at and some tips for using them, because it is kind of a game. In fact, I went to one website doing a little bit of research for this, and it's called So You Wanna. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
SoYouWanna.com. and what it does is this gives you tips and pointers and that sort of thing. And it tells you all about how to bid and how to place your stuff on different sites. So you get a feeling for what goes on. And one of the main things, and you're going to talk about this a little bit later, Chuck, is pay attention to what the people have to say about the site and about the sellers. Because there are people who are regular sellers on some of these sites, and you want to get to know them. But there's basically two kinds of sites, two kinds of auctions, and I've got a couple of sites up here that you might want to become familiar with, because these are sites that really have more to do with businesses selling to individuals, and what they are is it's kind of like the BJ's or Sam's of the internet. They are discontinued items, reconditioned items, overstocked items, that kind of thing, and you can get really good prices on them. I'm looking at UBid right now, which is one of them. And there's an auction exchange where you can put things up for sale on this one. But in addition to that, there are all different categories of items that you can bid on, and they have specials, and they have both straight auctions and auctions which really are more like, we've got 5 of these, and we'll sell them for this amount, which is usually a pretty good discount, and the first 5 people who come in will get one of these. We'll close it at a certain time, but that's how much it's going to go for, and you can have one at this time.
And they're called Dutch auctions,
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So UBid is one of them. That's a pretty popular site, not as big as the big one, eBay, that you're going to talk about, Chuck, but not a bad one to check out.
Sure.
Egghead.com I like for electronics and computers in particular. It has pretty good deals on these and is a pretty reliable source in terms of you're going to get a decent product.
It seems like you're probably a little safer with this than some of the other auction sites where they're independent people selling items. These are more businesses, right?
That's right. These are more like businesses who are going to, sell you their overstocks or reconditioned or whatever. They're also apparently people who buy up like lots of things, and then we'll place them up for auction. But you can get some good parts here, you can get good electronics, and actually I was just looking through an area here that I don't usually go to, which was travel. And just to give you an idea, now I don't know how true these are, but 5 days in the Dominican Republic, everything included for $305, I don't know. I'm getting ready to go.
Going to be the most expensive demo we've done,
so
Nancy.
Chuck and I are busy buying things. But now you've got eBay up there, and eBay, of course, is the granddaddy.
Yes, eBay.com is mainly individual users. Not to say that there aren't businesses out there, but there are, as we saw earlier on, millions of auctions at any given time. And one of the first things you need to do when you visit eBay.com is
figure out where you are.
is register as a new user if you want to start buying or selling. And I would probably suggest that you maybe start looking around and buying some smaller items first. You should be familiar with the interface and how it works. You probably don't want to go in there and like buy a car right away.
No.
Unless you are, have someone with you to assist you. But once you register, then you can see there's some different categories. You can browse the different categories here on the left-hand side, or you can jump right in and then just search for a specific part. If you're interested in maybe antique coins or antiques or maybe automotive, you can actually go to their specialty sites and find information there. For example, I'm going to go to my eBay, and once you're a registered user, you can sign in, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to sign right out. And when you click on sign in, it's going to ask you the username that you entered when you registered. So mine just happens to be 69 Coronet, and my old car, and then type in your password.
We can tell what Chuck's going to look for when he goes to the auction site.
Unfortunately, this can get very addicting, and that's one of the problems with eBay. I've been buying a lot of old car parts. I restore old cars for a living. I've been doing for years on the side here. And if I go to my eBay, you can see all the different, for example, auctions that I've been keeping an eye on and that I have bid on. So if I put in the last 30 days, for example, here you can see items that I'm actually bidding on right now. Right, and some of these have ended, and some of them down towards the bottom have not. For example, I'm looking for a new gas tank here. So if I click on this, you can see that over 15 people have already bid, for example, on this gas tank, and it's coming from some guy in Manchester, Connecticut. But if we look at the seller's ratings, this guy Nova Doug, he's got 89 ratings. And if we go there, it looks like he's got 109 positives and 90 from unique users, 1 negative. So you got to weigh that and say, you know what? Well, what was that?
He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. And looks like a lot of people highly recommend this guy. So I would feel pretty safe bidding on this if you have 20 or 30 safe feedbacks from them. But you can see some of the other ones have, like 500. This person seems to do a lot of selling on eBay. Others have just a few. So you really need to look at the profile makeup of the user, and it's probably a good idea to leave feedback once you purchase an item. But if I was interested in bidding on this, I can click on bid. And then what's nice about eBay is you can specify a maximum bid, and eBay will do something called proxy bidding, and you can find out more information on this down below.
It'll automatically bid for you
Yes.
up to that limit.
You got it. So if I put in here like $140, then the bid increments are $250. This may only bump it to $135. So what happens is if somebody comes along and bids, let's say $138, what will happen is eBay will automatically place a bid for me for $140. Or if I wanted to go up to, let's say, $200, then other people can keep bidding on and on and on until it hits the 200 price barrier, and then I'm out of luck. Now, here's the gotcha with eBay. Once you bid, what I found is the other people that are bidding get a little more interested in or get caught up in the hype. And they're like, wow, it's already up to 200 now. Let me think about bidding a little bit more. And they may bid 210, 220. So a lot of people will bid last minute, and they're referred to as snipers. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but for example here.
The problem being that some people can be right by their computers watching it all the time.
Yes.
And make it difficult for you.
You got it. And for example, I think there's some heater controls here that I bid on last minute. For example, those 13 bidders. And if you look at the bid history here, you can see that the auction ended at 1956.18, and I bid at 1955.59. I've actually got closer than that, and there's software that'll allow you to bid like up until a few seconds beforehand.
I was wondering about that because that happened to somebody I know who literally the second the auction closed, a bid came in and took
you can
it.
do that.
So evidently and we were speculating, did that happen by luck or had that been?
You can use third-party software, but the problem is you're gambling and saying, hope that third-party software works okay, and there's no problems with the auction going down and the network traffic. So you can gamble a little bit, but the problem is you may not win with the last second. You may say, you know what, let me try bidding at $205, and you bid that with last second. You can't rethink your bid and bid again. So, you really need to sit down and decide, how much do I really want to pay for this item? The problem is you can see that the bid history, people can start bidding last minute, and you can get really caught up on the hype. So you look at 1955, 23, 54, 54. You can see a lot of people were really interested in this one, and the bid price kept going up. And by the way, you only see the bid amount after the auction is over here. You don't see this during the bid. If I go to a live auction right now, you won't be able to see that. So you don't know what everybody's maximum bid is. So if I go to a live auction here, for example, here's some 4-speed. This one has no bid so far. But if we look at, let's say, here's a dash kit. If you look here, if you go to the bid history, you can see that there are bidders, but you don't know the bid amount.
Right, right.
So you won't know until the auction ends. So be careful. Make sure you look for the user's feedback before you place bids. And you may want to bid on items that are only a couple of dollars. Maybe for example, here there's something at $7, $8. Try bidding on that, because if you make a mistake,
It's not a very expensive one.
yes, exactly. And make sure you leave feedback for the seller after you buy the part. Right? After you buy the part, then you can leave feedback to either the seller, and then hopefully they'll leave feedback for you to increase your rating. So what I did, I have like 34 ratings, and after you start buying stuff, your ratings will build up, and then you can start selling, because then now you have a rating, and other people can start buying from you.
We got some tips for you. We're going to take a break in a minute. We're going to give you some tips right now. Before we do that, when we come back, we've got a few more things to tell you about this. So why don't you take a look at these tips if you're considering using web-based auctions, okay? You want to, well, you've just seen one page go by there. Make sure you use credit cards or money orders. Do you need a post office box? That may be important for delivering product, or you may not want to give out your address. Don't get caught up in the hype or the excitement, as Chuck pointed out to you. That's one you want to really be careful of.
Yep, and email if you have any questions before you bid. That's the key word.
Right. Yep. Email the seller with questions before bidding. Take a real good look at the product. Be careful of snipers, which is what Chuck was talking about. Some websites. We're going to take a look at Auction Watch and Bidder's Edge when we come back. We're also going to talk about Timber Creek. We showed you Egghead. We've got a couple others to show you. So when we return after this break, we will take a look at all of those things. So, and we will also take your calls and questions. Don't forget, we are back live here in our brand new studio, and we want you to call us at 634-6450. So please do that. We'll be right back.